Welcome back to Thoughts from the Movies. As you can see, things are a little bit different today, but I am still Josh Elsass, and with me, as always, is the one and only Rank King Austin Moorhead. But joining me are some subject matter experts and some subject matter haters as we cover the 1996 classic Space Jam. This is part of Michael Jordan Week on Thoughts from the Bench, as The Last Dance has wrapped up on Sunday. So this is your taste of the greatest movie of the 90s, we may be able to say. Over here we got Justin Boyd from the Idiot Hour. Over here we have Ryan Vójtásh, who's in charge of the TFTV store and writes funny articles about how he eats food wrong.
Debatable.
And we'd love to extend a special welcome to the Yinzer Mobs, Zach, who's joining us as the subject matter hater, who's not a Michael Jordan nostalgia guy. Zach, we've been trying to get you on a show for a while now. We're very lucky to have you. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, glad it's going to be something everybody fucking hates me for. That's awesome.
That's it. All right. So let's get into it, right? So 1996 film directed by Joe Pytka. Never directed anything before or after this. This is his one movie. That's a legend. That's pretty awesome.
For that, yeah.
Came in, went out on top.
He did. Came in on fire, went out on top. Starring, obviously, Michael Jordan, Wayne Knight from Seinfeld, and Bill Murray, the legend. Also starring a few NBA legends, as Larry Bird makes an appearance, and a number of other NBA players.
Charles Barkley.
Did you know Danny DeVito was in it?
Danny DeVito is the bad guy. He's Swag Hammer. Swag Hammer.
Vocally.
Vocally.
Yeah.
He
I
could
will
have been in
say-
the green suit. Who knows?
I did forget about that till I watched it yesterday, and I was like, "Oh
Yeah,
shit!"
Did they
Some brownie
model,
points.
did they model that character around Danny DeVito? Because it is like a short green alien.
I think it's a bit of a mix of like, I mean, obviously it kind of looks like Danny DeVito, but it's also very much a nod to Jerry Krause, who was the GM of the Bulls at the time. And there's a couple other really interesting things I'm not sure were meant to be references, but now looking at it from 2020, it's like, okay, that's either really creepy or they meant to do that. So let's start. So what's really cool here is this film was made 2 years or a year after Michael Jordan lost his father. And so like we get this really cool father-son moment that's just kind of like a really nice little moment that he's thanking his dad basically for being the one to instill the drive in him and the belief in him. And it's just kind of like a nice little moment that sets off the whole film. And then we get arguably the greatest theme song ever written for a movie as the opening credits play. Zach's even nodding his head. He's like, yeah,
I forgot
that one.
I forgot, and I was fucking shook as soon as it came on because I was like, "Oh shit!" And then I remembered everything else about R. Kelly, and I was like, "How the fuck do I feel? Like, what am I supposed to do right now?"
I'm torn as a person.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to hate this movie, but this song's awesome, but it's made by a shitty person. Fuck. What do I do?
Yeah.
I'm so hype when that movie starts. Like when the credits just start, it's just you're already like, yeah, I'm ready.
Do you remember? Did anyone see it in theaters or just me?
I don't believe I would have seen it in theaters because I
No.
would have too.
Well, yeah,
I
that didn't happen.
did see it in theaters, if I'm being honest, but I don't really remember the experience in theaters. I think I saw it with my uncle.
I definitely remember it because I got the cup, right? And the big cup had Michael Jordan dunking on it in the Toon Squad jersey. And like everything in the movie theater, the Regal Cinemas in Butler was decked out in Michael Jordan stuff. And like I remember sitting down, I remember that cool like thing, and then that song came on and it was so loud in the theater. And I remember like looking around at like tender age of 6, but I'm like looking around and everyone's like turned up. Like they're just like, yeah, like let's go. And I'm like, this might be the coolest movie I will ever see. And I was only 6. I was thinking that. And I still think I was probably right. Okay, so then we get the remake of the Michael Jordan retirement press conference, yada, yada, yada. Then we kind of like go through outer space and we land on what's called Moron Mountain, which is just perfect.
Love it. Gotta love the title.
Which is a failing amusement park run by Mr. Swackhammer. After a kid says he never wants to return to park again, Swackhammer tells his minions he needs new attractions. This clearly feels like a metaphor for Jerry Krause, Swackheimer, and then also like, so for those of you who aren't watching The Last Dance, Jerry Krause was very famous for always trying to bring in the thing that would replace Michael Jordan, whether that was Tony Kukoc or any other player. Anytime Krause loved that guy, it was Jordan's mission to shut him down or turn him into nothing, right? And then we'd find out later in Jordan's career where Krause was willing to replace the entire team because he wanted to be in charge of that thing that replaced Michael Jordan. So it's kind of like a weird metaphor. I don't know whether or not that was meant to be, or if that's just kind of like circumstance. Like it was like, here's a dumb script. Let's just use this with Michael Jordan. Do you guys like the idea of the invading aliens, or is that like too bleh?
I definitely think I like it for the percents of the storytelling. You know, we go from real life, retirement in basketball to unknown entity out in the world that it's like, okay, we're doing this. Let's roll with it. I think it's interesting. I don't necessarily, it might like click a couple buttons for those to make sense when you watch it later, but it's a shocking thing that puts you right into the film at the beginning.
Right.
So.
Right.
I'm gonna go ahead and show my ignorance here a little bit. How does the plot start? Is it they come down and they want to? Are they trying to steal the Looney Tunes?
Yes.
Yes.
Like that was it. That's it, right? Like they want to go after the Looney Tunes.
They want the Looney Tunes for the attractions at the park to make it better.
So where does the basketball game come in?
We'll get there.
I'm trying to remember like
all the plot points.
I'm trying to remember how like they were like, yes, like we're gonna have because I remember it was like, okay, we're gonna have a basketball game, and then they were like, we need Michael Jordan.
Right. Are the aliens 290s?
90s?
Yeah. Like aliens in the 90s were huge.
Mars Attacks.
Mars Attacks, Men in Black, like you name it. Independence Day.
Yeah.
Starship Troopers, classic.
They had the Looney Tunes. They need another like universe or world to go to battle with. So aliens work for that.
Zach, are you bored of the movie at this point?
No, so far I'm like kind of like back on board. It goes to shit like shortly after. But my whole thing was, while we're talking about like the aliens, like Looney Tunes were not like a poppin' thing when we were kids though, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember Looney Tunes being on like, I remember like Tiny Toons and Animaniacs, but like Looney Tunes was like Sunday night fucking Cartoon Network stuff. Like there weren't new episodes of Looney Tunes when we were kids. I don't remember. Like I remember Rugrats, Dexter, Cat Dog, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like Looney Tunes was like kind of like a weird, now like being almost 30 watching it, I was like Looney Tunes were probably like nostalgic for people like in their 20s, in the 90s, I guess.
Right.
Because that wasn't like, it was definitely relevant, but it wasn't like for kids at that point. Like we had our own shit that was not the Looney Tunes. So that was weird for me.
Yeah,
I think
point.
Like the aliens are more on par for kids in the 90s than I think Looney Tunes were.
Boy,
but it worked because everybody loves it.
Yeah. I was trying to, because I feel like I definitely grew up watching Looney Tunes. But
same.
Yeah, I was younger.
Right.
I remember Tiny Toons. I remember when Tiny Toons came along. And I feel like at the point that Tiny Toons came along, I wasn't, like, Looney Tunes wasn't really like a thing. You know?
Right.
it was like he said, like Hey Arnold, Dexter's Laboratory, Cow Chicken, like all like whatever, like that type of stuff. But
Go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe it's just like maybe that nostalgia is also like the like Bulls fans, like Michael Jordan fans, things like that. Maybe they were fans of Looney Tunes in that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that was, and then the Aliens was them trying to. It was like, oh, let's get these younger kids, and then we'll get them with the Aliens, and we have this range of like these teenagers, the 20-year-olds that love
Right.
and the Tiny and Looney Tunes,
And at the end of the day, it's Michael Jordan, so they captivated everyone with that.
MJ.
It's a really good point, Zach. It's a really good point. That, like, I remember having like a Tasmanian Devils T-shirt. Like, there's pictures of me as like 4-year-old in one, but like, yeah, like, why is that? Why are the Looney Tunes in 1996 the main characters in this film? It's kind of really good point. I didn't even think about it because I just think so fondly about this.
It's so
movie.
iconic now. You don't think about it,
Right?
You're like, oh yeah, fucking. Of course it's the Looney. Of course it's Bugs Bunny and Michael Jordan. Who else would it be?
Right.
Like, I don't know.
Unless they were trying to get people to watch the Looney Tunes again, like get back in.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like again, it could have been that. It could have been like like I said, like the nostalgia of those people in that age range that loved Jordan, and also like grew up watching the Looney Tunes. It could have. I mean, because like, what other cartoons were popular and prevalent in like '95?
Okay. So Tiny Toons would have already debuted, so it wasn't like a push for Tiny Toons.
Yeah, Tiny Toons debuted in like '92 or something.
Yeah.
Right? 94, 92.
95 cartoons. Let's see.
I'm just curious, like, who else could it have been? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
if it wasn't Bugs Bunny.
And actually, Tiny Toons, the run was over. They were done in 95.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Didn't know
So,
that.
like, yeah, why the hell?
Well, I don't know if this is because of Space Jam, just because I'm not too, up on the subject as a whole. But for whatever reason, I kind of associate like Jordan Brand and Marvin the Martian.
Right.
Because isn't there like Mars like is involved in the shit somehow? So I don't know if that was pre Space Jam. I'd be curious to like how that was already associated with Looney Tunes, but
It's crazy.
it could be
too,
from the movie.
Because, like, I'm like, now that we're like talking about it, like, I'm thinking about all those NES games that were Looney Tunes. Like the Marvin the Martian game, there was a Duck Dodgers game, there was all that stuff. But like, I'm scrolling through Rocko's Modern Life, Ren and Stimpy, Doug. These were like the powerhouses around 95, 96.
Here's my
Pinky
question.
In the Brain.
Do you remember like those obnoxious like Walmart t-shirts that would have like the Looney Tunes characters doing something, like it would be like Bugs Bunny and like baggy jeans smoking a cigar with a backwards hat. Like, was that before Space Jam or was that after Space Jam? Was like that whole Looney Tunes thing, like did that become a resurgence because of Space Jam, or was it like somehow mysteriously the Looney Tunes just ran the 90s and it was like there were just these Tasmanian Devil and like Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny t-shirts where they're all doing ridiculous shit, and that was just, nobody questioned it because it's like, oh yeah, it's just the Looney Tunes. Like, of course that guy's got a Bugs Bunny shirt on.
Perhaps there was a Looney Tunes series that we left in the Bears Team Bears universe and didn't cross it over. And that's why we can't remember why they're so popular. So Swackhammer tells his minions to go kidnap the Looney Tunes as their new attraction. We then cut to Michael Jordan playing a baseball game, and we see the circus that would surround him. There's a great scene where the catcher is talking to Michael Jordan. They're going back and forth. He's like thanking him for signing up a bat. He's trying to get him to hit a home run. He's telling him what pitch is coming. Did anyone just also assume that that's the guy from Major League 2 who can't make the throw back to the pitcher's mound? Just me?
What?
Yes,
Oh
you.
man.
All right.
You might have,
blew me through a loop just now. Oh,
Yeah, you might be reaching there, brother.
Back in
I
Looney
like
Tunes-
it though.
Yeah, right. Well, they're clearly playing like the Indians farm team, like the colors are the same.
Right.
So I think in my head, like I just immediately assumed that Michael Jordan's playing somebody in Major League.
I respect what you're doing there.
Well, and the White Sox are the rivals of the Indians in Major League too.
Right.
That's,
Yes.
I'm telling you.
all together, man.
Back in Looney Tune land, the Monstars find Bugs Bunny and threaten to take him and all the Looney Tunes away. We cut back. We see Michael coming home from the baseball game after having a bad outing, and he's greeted by his dog. Did anyone catch the name of the dog?
I don't remember it, but I don't.
Charles.
Yeah,
Charles Barkley.
that's what that was. Oh, man.
Oh, man. I mean, we know that MJ is like a big, teaser and shit talker. Definitely ripping on one of his best friends at the time there. Back in Looney Tune land, the Monstars tell the Looney Tunes gang that they are taking them with them. The Looney Tunes pull some classic shenanigans. We get all the old spots, Roadrunner, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like that garbage. What is that?
I saw those in like.
Like, what year do you think that T-shirt came in?
2000.
Like 2000, yeah.
Really? You don't think
Yeah.
those were 90s?
No, because I think the 90s like shirts
Brother,
and
like
all
this
that.
shit was 90s.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like that was 90s.
Look at them wearing Jordans in that shirt too.
So is that post?
That might be post Space Jam then. And
No.
Jordan's on.
Damn.
I'm just saying, like, they're so whoa. And then then you got like this is also on Wish, and I'm sorry, this is just hilarious.
No, I love this.
This is hilarious. It's only $19. I might buy this shirt.
You're gonna have to blur that out.
Wow.
That is not kid appropriate.
Oh boy.
Our shows don't claim to be, but that's pretty hilarious.
That is. There's some good ones on here. Anyway.
It must have been a deleted scene from the movie.
Yeah, we didn't see
Yeah.
that scene. So
Maybe
after,
Zach would like it then.
yeah.
Wow.
Hey, it might be a scene that changes the whole plot of the movie. Doesn't
Yeah.
it?
I mean, it would definitely be the most interesting thing that happens in the fucking movie for sure.
I love Bill Murray in it.
We're getting there.
Yeah, makes it.
So after some deliberation, the Looney Tunes decide to challenge the short monster or the monster, alien, whatever. Also, they're aliens, but then they're monsters.
That's why, because they're so small. They're like
Right.
repeating
Yeah.
basketball.
Right. So then they decide to challenge them to the basketball game. We get a montage of the Monstars going to a bunch of NBA games. Like, what was their budget to get courtside seats to Knicks versus Suns? That would have cost some serious ducats.
I'm
No,
pretty
they
sure
even-
Space Jam was probably that movie had to have been like they had to have NBA funding.
I was just making a joke about the
Oh, okay.
aliens paying for
I was
courtside seats.
Oh,
and
my
like
fault.
I don't know how they even got in. Considering
Right.
They snuck in. They're little aliens. They just hung out.
They made a giant person out of all.
That was over my head.
I'm not even sure that you could even get in looking like, trench coat, giant hat over. It might raise some suspicion going to
No,
a
this was
Pre 9/11.
Pre 9/11.
9/11 changed everything.
Oh,
You could do whatever the fuck you wanted back then. I could have walked in with a suitcase full of cocaine. They wouldn't have said anything.
Well, they would have just escorted you to Patrick
Jared Krause's office.
Ewing's locker room. So they steal the talent of Charles Barkley and Patrick Ewing. And then a somewhat recognizable name, Muggsy Boggs from the Charlotte Hornets. And then Sean Bradley and Larry Johnson.
Don't be disrespectful.
Who are those dudes? Like, why? The 5 NBA players that are picked are beyond me at this point. And I know that Michael Jordan probably didn't have a lot of friends, and like we know that Patrick Ewing and Charles Barkley were friends of his. But man, those other three names are not like big name, like, and I mean, you're already blowing out your budget with Looney Tunes and Michael Jordan, so you might as well go the whole way.
I beg to differ, man. Muggsy Bogues was nice.
Okay. So Muggsy Bogues, but then what's up with Sean Bradley and Larry Johnson?
Weren't they all in the same game
No.
from both teams? Or they go different games? I forget.
So Barkley plays for the Suns. Ewing plays for the Knicks. Muggsy plays for the Charlotte Hornets. Sean Bradley played for
76ers.
the 76ers, and Larry Johnson played for the Celtics. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, in the movie, though, weren't they playing against each other?
Nope.
No.
It's just Knicks and Suns.
You said Larry Johnson, Josh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlotte Hornets.
Okay, so at least two Charlotte Hornets. So that at least makes some sense, but we never see them take the powers of the last three guys, so we don't really know. Like maybe that team got cut. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Then the Lakers refuse to get dressed after the NBA is losing its talent. We're seeing a bunch of montage scenes of things happening, and then the Lakers refuse to get dressed because of this particular line. You don't know how a germ like that can spread. And that hits different in 2020, man. I watched this movie right at the beginning of the quarantine. I was like, motherfucker.
Don't they show like TV clips? Like, isn't that how they get those scenes out? It's like weird like TV clips of them holding the ball, and they're like,
yeah.
Then there's just like, oh yeah, he lost his. Now he sucks. Like basically, it's just like another clip of him trying to dunk or lay up and can't do it.
Not even
Right.
that. They just lose basic all function of the one. The one guy throws the ball and he like goes over here and it goes way over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
Like
All
they're
coordination. So then we come back to Looney Tune land, and the Looney Tunes are practicing on an outdoor court. Daffy Duck gives a Dennis Rodman reference, which is pretty awesome because that's pre-Dennis Rodman on the Bulls, so that's Michael Jordan taking a shot at Dennis Rodman. And then, meanwhile, in Looney Tunes, blah, 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 blah. Oh, the Monstars land, and they show that they've stolen the talent of the NBA. They all touch the ball. They get super big. And they start to resemble another team from the NBA that Michael Jordan had a lot of problems with. And we'll get into that a little bit later. The Looney Tunes realize that they are not going to be able to beat them on their own, and they're going to need some help. We go back to Michael Jordan. We find him on the golf course with Larry Bird, Bill Murphy, and Wayne Knight.
No.
Hold up.
No.
Reel it back.
No.
What?
No. He was not on the golf course with Bill Murphy.
What did I say? Bill Murphy?
With Bill Murray.
Wow. Jesus.
Bill Murphy.
We found him on the court.
That's another deleted scene with Bill
Yeah,
Murphy.
right. Bill Murphy. So they're playing golf. This is one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's just like all the chaos that's happening. Like Bill Murray's like trying to convince people he can play in the NBA. Wayne Knight is getting further and further up MJ's ass. MJ legitimately looks pissed, like he's trying to actually play golf, like he forgot they're filming a movie. And Larry Bird is just no personality whatsoever.
He is high.
And this is where we introduce the guy I think that steals the movie for just about all of us, right? Like,
Bill Murray.
incredible.
100%.
He's fixing a divot.
Yeah.
That's the best scene in the whole movie.
Yeah. He's fixing it, damn it.
Oh, he's fixing a divot.
So Zach, on the scale of like, oh, this is a good movie to this is garbage, where are you at this point in the film?
The highlight of the entire movie for me is after MJ gets sucked down the hole and Bill Murray asks him what kind of camera that is. And he's like, it's a Kodiak. And he like points at him. He's like, don't point that thing at me. That's hands down the best part of the movie for me. That's the best line. But
So good.
yeah, up until this point, I'm like, oh, this is like a lot better than I kind of remembered it being. And then like 15 minutes later, I was just like, I'm just like watching a kid's movie that like I care nothing about.
A lot of kids. Cult
I
classic.
mean, I'm not like a sports guy either, so it's like I don't know.
Oh man.
I think
It has its moments still. It has its moments still, but that's for sure the pinnacle for me. Is
Feel
that
good
scene.
story. It's just a happy, feel good story. Like, what more do you want?
I think
You want
something
the movie
that's
to do your laundry for you? Would that make it more appealing?
No, it just like sucks. I don't know.
It
I
just
fucking hate the Looney Tunes, and I've never cared about basketball. So
Here's a quick
it's just
question.
like, put them all together.
What animated characters would make this movie better for you? Like if it was Michael Jordan and like Beavis and Butthead?
No, that's the unfortunate thing. Like, there's no other
nobody.
like.
Nothing about this would make it better.
Well, I mean, you can't have the Rugrats out there balling against these like 1,100 feet monsters. Like, there's no other like band of cartoon characters that would even make this like
The rocket power.
I was just thinking that, Bo.
What about Disney?
till Sammy like blows a hammy and then they're done for. You know.
Well, that's when Bill Murray shows up.
Yeah,
True. I take it back.
I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was in this picture. Another great line. Like
That's another classic.
Fantastic line.
You could make how many are we gonna score jokes if you put Beavis and Butthead?
Oh, so good.
Like how many?
There, like realistically, does anybody else think that this could have been a better movie with another cast of animated characters?
King of the Hill would be my only other go-to.
Oh, man.
It would be.
Thanks to
Imagine
that.
the new one. LeBron needs like a team, and he pops up in the alleyway in Arlington, Texas, and he's just like,
Damn it, Bronny.
yeah.
I mean,
Dale's losing his mind because of aliens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he would be. He'd be like, I told you all. He'd be
Yeah,
losing
Lou
it.
Ann could be the female bunny character.
Yes.
John Redcorn's out there.
Oh, man. This is a better movie. I think we gotta get some rights.
I'm waiting for the phone to ring now.
Yeah, right.
I'll sell the rights right now.
There you go.
we need
Also, I remember what I'm gonna say. So Bill Murray was asked to do the movie late. So actually all Bill Murray's scenes are shot, like some of the last things shot. And it basically was he showed up on set, they told him what was going on at the story at the time, and he had no script. So everything Bill Murray's saying is just off the cuff, which I think is even more incredible when you think about like some of the lines that he comes
Bill
up
Murray's a fucking legend, brother.
So Michael Jordan hits a magical hole-in-one. He goes to pick the ball out of the cup. He gets lassoed down into the hole. Bill Murray and Larry Bird just don't seem like shocked by this at all. Like they don't seem concerned. And they think it's an elaborate ruse for Michael Jordan to get away from Wayne Knight. The Looney Tunes pull Michael Jordan down to the court. They try to recruit him to help them defeat the Monstars. And then we get another one of my favorite scenes in the movie. They're standing in this dilapidated gym. And Michael Jordan's like, kind of like, I can't play basketball here. And I think Daffy Duck goes, there's nothing that can't be fixed with a little spit shot. Which they all just start spitting on the floor.
It is a really good scene too.
Classic Looney Tunes, like dumb, like not meant to be humorous humor. And then the Tasmanian
Zach is
Devil.
not amused.
Right.
Zach's like, that fucking scene sucked.
I watched it yesterday. And I don't even remember that scene, but
Oh man,
it sounds awesome. Sounds sick.
It's when they're in the gym and they bring him down there, and it's like the court is like just shit, like it's all broken, and there's like floorboards peeling up. Yeah, and then Daffy Duck's like, "There's nothing that you can't fix with a little spit sign." And
yeah,
they all just literally start spitting on the floor, and it's great movie.
It's a new gym right after that.
Yeah,
right.
Then Taz comes in.
He comes in, he spins, and then he goes, "Let me be fresh," and that's
there. It is.
I'm crippled. All right, and then the Monstars show up. They make fun of Michael Jordan, which we've learned from The Last Dance is the last thing you want to do, because all you're gonna do is piss him off. Half an hour into the movie, the plot is set. The beginning of the second act, we get an awesome montage of NBA players attempting to find out what happened to their talent. Charles Barkley's getting beaten by girls in a game of pickup. They're all at the therapist office saying wacky shit.
That scene of Barkley like getting frustrated by getting his ass beat is, I love it. It's great. It's really good.
Vo, what do you think at this point in the movie? Half an hour in.
He's like, you ain't Charles Barkley. You just a wannabe.
Yeah. Place had, like, I think it was perfect setup for why Michael had to play the Monstars.
Right, because the NBA clearly didn't have any other talent at that point in time. Isaiah Thomas, Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, none of those guys would have been any good. Shaquille O'Neal. Trash.
Couldn't make a point in that.
I really like this scene in the movie. I don't know that it's necessary because, I mean, it kind of like the movie's an hour and a half is the runtime, but like it kind of drags on a little bit. But the song that's playing underneath it is hilarious.
The song is so fucking weird. I took like 5 notes about the whole movie, and one of them is weird song during montage. Like, what the fuck is that? Patrick Ewing's like laying there, and the psychiatrist is like, "Do you have any like other performance issues?" And the song's like, "Oh yeah." And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, I get that's a joke for adults, but we didn't need the "oh yeah" to really sell what the fuck we were rooting for here.
What do we know what the song is called?
Basketball Jones.
Oh my god, I know that.
Is it a real song?
Basketball Jones. No, all the songs were made for this movie, including I believe.
I feel like I have the soundtrack on TV.
It's the scene where Barkley's walking up. He's like, "Hey, mind if I play with y'all?" Like the way he's spread.
So sad. I think like you can't make that joke in 2020, but he gets beat by teenage girls. Like I think it's the one he goes to put up the shot, and the one girl smashes the ball out of his hand. Like he's on the couch, she's like, "She was 5'0", and she blocked my shot like I didn't matter." And he's like, "When did you start having these dreams?" He's like, "It actually happened." Great moment.
He's like, "You're Charles Barkley."
Yeah.
I'll play with y'all. Bro, like that, I forgot how funny that scene was. Like,
It's so good.
kind of dying right now.
Hey, can I play?
Hey, yo.
Oh man.
Anyway.
Man, okay. The Looney Tunes attempt to practice after some classic Looney Tunes spots. We're introduced to the heartthrob of the shit. What was it? I can't remember. She'd get like her goofy name that she's introduced as, but Lola Bunny, which is not a character anywhere in the Looney Tunes universe before or after, solely for Space Jam.
Wait.
No, she was in the Tiny Toons, I think.
Was she in Tiny Toons?
I think so.
Or is that a different one?
I think it might be a different bunny. I don't think it's Lola.
If she's in Tiny Toons and she's like a minor Looney Tune, this raises way more fucking issues with the sexualized bunny character.
I think it's
Babs is Tiny Toons.
I'm smart, bitch. Question me on these Tiny Toons, bitch. I know.
My Tiny Toons Brown. Come from me.
I swear that Lola Bunny was a thing after Space Jam, though.
I think she was only a thing on shitty Walmart T-shirts.
So you're telling me
there's a show later with the Looney Tunes cast, like later for later generations.
Okay, so you're telling me that Lola just shows up, basically is introduced as Bugs' love, wants to just bury his bug face in that bunny ass.
He's trying to bury his carrot, if you will.
I'm saying she can't just disappear. Like, she can't just be gone.
She first appeared in 1996 as Space Jam. And then she's in a remake later of the Looney Tunes. Like, you know how they, like, rebooted it?
Yeah.
It's trash.
But she doesn't look like Lola anymore. That's just her name.
Don't call
voiced by
her
Kristen
Lola.
Wiig.
Okay, so it was Baby Looney Tunes from 2001 to 2006. She was in that.
Baby Looney Tunes,
Baby.
not Tiny Toons.
Yeah. And even in this like new
What is this garbage?
this new
Wait.
version of the Looney Tunes show, I believe that it's almost reversed because Bugs is set on being with Lola in this movie, whereas the show Lola is crazy about Bugs and Bugs really doesn't like care for her.
I don't like that.
He's also like really like ditzy and crazy.
Okay, so Baby Looney Tunes is like shitty Muppet Babies. That's what that is.
Yeah, I guess you could go.
That's
and then
exactly what that is.
Tiny Toons. Here's what I'm just now remembering. I had to look it up. Tiny Toons is like Looney Tunes children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew like Babs Buddy, like I knew that name, but then I didn't remember if it was it's Buster and Babs. I didn't.
Yes.
Plucky
Not
Duck.
even. Yeah.
Plucky
And
Duck, not Daffy. Plucky.
right. It's their kids, and then you have you have a musical number in every show, and I just like the Yakety Yak one is awesome.
Love that one.
It's really good.
Love that one. Formerly.
Oh yeah.
What was that one?
They Might Be Giants. Yeah. Isn't
Yeah.
that Animaniacs or is that Tiny Toons?
No, it's Tiny Toons. Or wait, they
I
might
think
be Giants.
Zach's right.
They Might Be Giants as Animaniacs, but no, that song is Tiny Toons. I remember for a fact.
That's the Constantinople song is a They Might Be Giants song.
Right.
Well, maybe it was Tiny Toons. I have to look that up.
I
It was like one of the first albums I ever had on CD. Was that They Might Be Giants album? Yeah.
There you go.
they did the Malcolm in the Middle theme song too. Anyway.
Wow.
Mm.
Okay.
I should know that.
So either way, Lola Bunny did not exist before Space Jam. Totally new character introduced.
Okay.
The Looney Tunes have to go back to 3D land to retrieve Michael Jordan's basketball gear. They retrieve a pair of Air Jordan 10s and his UNC shorts after being saved from the kids. After the kids saved them from Charles Barkley the dog.
I get it. It's a dog.
Then the Looney Tunes take a pot shot at Disney as Daffy Duck suggests that the team name be the Ducks. And then Bugs goes, what kind of Mickey Mouse organization would name their team the Ducks? Wow.
I never picked up on that, but
Oh yeah.
it's now.
Like, the Toon Squad did not become a legitimate NBA franchise after the movie, so, like, sorry. Ducks win. Spoiler alert. Wayne Knight follows Bugs and Daffy down to Looney Tune Land, where he finds Michael. Cut back to David Stern, as the LA Coliseum literally has, like, black tarps folding over top of it. David Stern comes out and he says the NBA will not continue until it can guarantee the health and safety of its players. 2020 again. Yikes. So, cuts back to Looney Tune Land. The ultimate game is played that night. Here's the starting lineup for the Looney Tunes. No positions given, but the Tasmanian Devil. Lola Bunny at small forward. Daffy Duck at power forward. Bugs Bunny at point guard. And Michael Jordan is not given a position. I just assumed guard, which was his normal position. I feel like that's not the best starting five they could have put on the court. Like, the Looney Tunes have all these amazing people, and we've done a lot of drafts on Idiot Hour. I don't think we've ever taken Lola, Daffy, or Bugs. I understand Lola shows her hoops game early, but like where's Foghorn Leghorn? He's huge. Where's Roadrunner? Where's Sylvester the Cat? Like, there's so many better opportunities here.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Doesn't even appear in this movie.
Not even referenced.
Did you guys play the Space Jam video game?
No.
Can't say that I had.
So I had it for PS1, and it was 3-on-3 basketball.
Wait, no,
And
I
you got-
did play that. I used to rent it from Blockbuster.
Yeah, you got to go through and pick your starting three, so you could go through all the characters, pick who you wanted. And then they had mini games, like you had to go into Michael's house and grab the
And
shorts.
get the shorts. I remember that.
So who were you?
That game was sick. Yeah, but in that game it was like Bugs, Lola, Daffy, like they were all like they all had like the highest stats. And then
Yeah.
I think you could definitely be Jordan too. I'm pretty sure.
Jordan was in there, and then like Elmer Fudd was on there.
Yeah, Elmer.
Elmer does play some sick defense later in the game.
Who's the old ass lady on the sidelines? That's a cartoon.
Oh,
I
I
think
think
Who
that's
the-
Granny. That's
who
the one
is she?
known for Tweety
She's
Bird.
Yeah, she's the Tweety
Okay.
Bird granny.
Her
So-
mom's injured as shit, going like this. Like,
yeah.
Bro, they went out of the way to animate her saggy titties too, like folding over her shorts or whatever. I was like, God damn, no justice for this poor old lady.
So Zach, is this at this point you're like, all right, this is now a really dumb movie?
It's not that it's dumb. It's just that like at this point where we have like the full plot, like I understand, because when I first started it, I was like, the Looney Tunes and Michael Jordan play these big ass aliens, but I could not put together all the reasons why. So like at this point, like I'm like satisfied with seeing it all play out. You know, I know how it ends, obviously, but
Right.
you know, just actually watching them play basketball and just get dominated on isn't like super entertaining when you know that like they're gonna pull through anyway. But
Right. So it's at the 53-minute mark that we see the special edition Air Jordans that were just for Space Jam. He would go on to actually wear them in his return season, where they went and only lost like 13 games the entire year. Arguably the greatest NBA team ever. So that's kind of cool.
The greatest
Um,
team ever.
what?
Not arguably, just the greatest.
Oh, they are, yeah. The first half of the game, the Toon Stars are physically bullied by the much larger Monstars. It seems pretty obvious that this is referring to the 80s Pistons, which is a team that the Bulls really had a problem with, which would also then suggest that the short one that never stops running its mouth is actually meant to be Isaiah Thomas, who Michael Jordan has a long-standing feud with, and still takes a pot shot at, even in his movie, by making this really annoying, douchey character. It would also assume then that Dennis Rodman is the blue one, who kind of has like a little bit of a fro that's like a different color. Not the tall blue one, but the bigger one. Pretty wild. Just like, if that is meant to be a reference to the 80s Pistons, that like we're talking about taking these type of pot shots at these guys after Jordan's already beaten them and he's already won 3 championships back to back to back. Like, he's still that bitter, but he has to animate them in a cartoon.
I don't know if it's bitter. I just think it's
confidence.
yeah.
Like knowing that I like did it, so now I'm gonna put it in a film. I'm still gonna rat on your asses.
Yeah. I mean, there's even a point where later in the movie where the one guy says green light, which was what they referred to as every time Jordan took off when he would play the Pistons, when he went to go dunk, they would just slam him. They would like grab him and throw him to the ground. They said that they had the green light to do that. So like that's, I mean, it seems like a pretty direct reference to me, which is cool knowing all this stuff now as an adult, but it's just kind of a weird like thing to have in there. It's revealed that the Monstars stole the NBA players' talent. Jordan didn't know that before he finds out at that moment. We go into halftime, and the Toon Stars are down big. Jordan then attempts to inspire his team, and he snaps on Porky Pig, which, like, there's parts of this movie where I'm like, I think Michael Jordan actually, like, is competitive with the invisible monsters he's playing against. And he's actually mad that he's being depicted in this movie as losing at halftime. Like, I just...
I don't know if it's this exact scene, but it stood out to me. I don't know, maybe just because for whatever reason, but when Bugs first meets Michael Jordan, he goes to this big thing. He's like, they're trying to put us into slavery. And it like cuts to him with like shackles on his hands and shit. So at one point they're getting absolutely dominated on, and Bugs and Jordan, I think they're all in the huddle. They're all talking about like, oh, we got to do this. And Jordan says, let's just go out and have fun. And I was thinking, Bugs Bunny's probably like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Go out and have fun. They're trying to pimp us out in some fucking space planet, signing autographs, working in salt mines and shit. And you're talking about go out here and have fun. We're losing by like 60 fucking points. Like, what are you talking about?
I think
what
that's,
the fuck?
I think that's the last play of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is. But still, he's got a great point.
Yeah, it stood out to me. I was like, go out and have fun? What the fuck are you talking about?
But
the whole premise of the movie.
I think by that point, though, however, just so we're here,
yeah.
By that point, Michael Jordan had already made the deal that if they lost, that he just gets Jordan.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll go to your planet, and I'm your attraction. Basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
But even still,
that makes it a little better.
I'm just saying, so it's not like go out and have fun, Bugs, or else you're going to be sold into slavery. Sorry to you.
Right.
But so like, let's go out and have fun. If not, well, then I'm going to be the one. So
even if I was Bugs, I'd be like, bro, is this guy fucking okay? Is this our leader right now? Like, he's fucking reckless.
Yeah. Well, he was. That's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
He was probably saying that in the actual huddles for the Bulls. So then Bugs Bunny fills up a water bottle and calls it Mike's Secret Step. Clearly a reference to steroids. Like, just wild that's even in that movie.
Come on.
In the minds of
Get the fuck out of here.
It's just Gatorade. It's not steroid.
You're a prick.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wish Derek was here right now.
I know. And I'm not even going to bring up what we were talking about. I'm just going to let you marinate over there in my little like conspiracy theory that Michael Jordan took steroids to beat the Pistons. So then the Looney Tunes fight back and they start playing, using their shenanigans to beat the Monstars. The Toon Squad pulls within 2 points of the Monstars. There's a timeout as Swackhammer says to just beat the shit out of Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan bets his soul to Swackhammer. If he loses to the Monstars, Jordan will return to Moron Mountain with them and become their new attraction. After a montage of the Monstars beating the tar out of the Looney Tunes and Michael Jordan, things look grim. That is until Wayne Knight enters the game, scoring a crucial 3-point shot, but is injured in the process.
Flattened.
They do him so dirty with how fat he looks when he's like man to that fucking flathead on the court.
They make him look so fucking flattering.
They did him so dirty.
This is really important because it puts the Looney Tunes within one of the Monstars. But it also allows Michael Jordan to understand that the physics of Looney Tunes world also apply to the real humans that are in there. Unfortunately, with Wayne Knight suffering injury, they're down to 4 players. And Marvin Martian shows up, who's apparently the ref. Like, he becomes the ref like halfway through the game, I think.
You feel like he would be biased towards his own homeland.
Well, but he's also so first off, Marvin Martian's from space. Like, all right, hang on. Let's really get into this. Okay, so Marvin Martian's from space, right? Inside the Looney Tunes universe, which we assume the Monstars are also from space inside the Looney Tunes universe. And all the Looney Tunes live on Earth inside of the Looney Tunes universe, right? So Marvin Martian is always trying to invade the Looney Tunes. He's always trying to catch Bugs Bunny or Daffy Duck, right? And so, like, he really should probably be leaning towards the Monstars, which in theory would make up the reason why he's not calling any of these flagrant fouls that are happening to any of them. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
That would make sense.
Okay.
Oh, you got going there. I like it.
Because I was also like, why is Marvin Martian the referee? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, but other than that he was a popular Looney Tune that they wanted in there, I don't know. So things look grim as they're down to 4 players. That is until Scottie Pippen appears. Never mind. Bill Murray appears and becomes the 5th player.
What you did.
I didn't know Dan Aykroyd was in this picture, so that was a call back to earlier.
And that's an awesome Swackhammer line as Bill Murray runs out. Great moment between Bill Murray and Daffy Duck where he asks how the hell he even got down here. Said my agent dropped me off. Like, Daffy's like, that's how these kind of things happen. Like, really cool moment. The Monstars have the ball with 5 seconds left, and they're about to inbound. Bill Murray and Daffy Duck drop a play where Daffy's going to run and basically tackle one of the Monstars. The ball comes loose. Bill Murray gets the steal. Okay? This is very, very important. The Toon Stars march down, Toon Squad marches down the court, runs the golden triangle. If you're paying attention, they run the triangle where they check it down to the post, check it inside, check it back out. And they like work their way around the arc doing that, which is obviously a reference to Phil Jackson and the Golden Triangle that won all the Bulls championships. Pretty cool that like they took the time to animate the Golden Triangle into Space Jam. And the guy who gets the final assist on Michael Jordan's game-winning basket,
Bill
Murray. There's been
see the video of him the other day.
There's been a video circulating the internet where Bill Murray says he doesn't get any credit, that he stole the ball and that he was the one that made the final assist. Pretty awesome. So Michael Jordan gets the ball at half court. He takes off in his famous Air Jordan pose and stretches his arm all the way to the hoop. Slam dunk. Toon Stars win. Toon Squad wins. After saying goodbye to the Looney Tunes, MJ returns to the baseball field on the spaceship. I Believe I Can Fly comes over. As he walks off the plane, Wayne Knight announces, ladies and gentlemen, Michael Jordan. I don't care. I got chills. It was cool. It was awesome. Just, I don't know, man. Like,
You can still get chills from that scene.
yeah.
And when they introduce him back as a Bull.
Right.
Both great.
Awesome moment. The next day, Michael Jordan finds the 5 players who lost their talent at a gym. He gives them their talent back using the ball. As Jordan turns to leave the gym, Charles Barkley teases him and says he's a baseball player anymore. He doesn't play basketball. Apparently, that one single comment inspired him to return to the NBA. And then Larry Bird and Bill Murray watch as the number 45 Michael Jordan takes on the Orlando Magic, and the movie's over. Ta-da.
The end.
90s nostalgia wrapped up in a beautiful bubble. Zach, now that the movie's over, like you had said to me before you rewatched it, like, man, I hate this movie. Are you sure you even want me to do this? I was like, yes. So do you hate it less now, do you think, or do you even have more reasons to hate it?
I think I definitely hate it less just because I didn't remember like all the mechanics of it, and I didn't remember like the extent of Bill Murray's participation. I only kind of remembered him on the golf course. But I mean, as somebody that has like 0 to even less interest in basketball or Michael Jordan, I'm kind of more interested to go back and, start watching The Last Dance and see all what was going on and see if, that appreciation makes me appreciate the movie a little more, because all the references and shit you guys are talking about, like, to the league itself are completely wasted on me because I have no fucking idea about any of that.
They were wasted on me too until just this past watch. And Space Jam is a movie that I'm proud to admit I watch at least once a year, because I'm somebody who can, if the movie from start to finish, all the plot points line up and make a correct hero's journey arc, then it's a good movie to me. And this movie does that. I mean, you see the inciting incidents, you see who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, plot point A, B, C, you see the rise, the fall. Like, it's all very easy, like, skeleton of a hero's journey, but it's awesome when you can just follow a story like that, and Space Jam does that.
You're a big hero's journey kind of guy.
Huge hero's journey kind of guy. It's the ultimate story, right? And what I love about the hero's journey narrative is that I feel like anybody can see themselves in the main character, that the main character does not necessarily have to be totally like written to you, right? So like, if you use any other kind of plot narrative, right? Maybe you need to write somebody that sounds just like Justin Boyd or Austin or Bo or Zach, where like you're like, oh yeah, I do that or I like that. A good hero's journey narrative, anybody can get behind the hero. They don't have to have some type of technical connection to them. I don't know.
That's why, like, I'm not a huge basketball fan, but I've always loved this movie.
Right.
You're a big hero's journey kind of guy.
Exactly.
I must be.
So every week we do a couple of different questions at the end of the movie. So I'm just going to rattle through those with you guys, and then we'll give it a final score at the end. Let me find my questions here.
We talk about real quick before you find them how
Do your
Tweety
thing.
Bird was in the goddamn iron lung. Like of all
So
injuries,
good.
of all injuries, Tweety Bird's in a giant iron lung.
What's your favorite thing about the movie? And we'll start with Zach for this one.
I mean, it would be a top. I enjoyed the most, I think, like I said, that scene with Bill Murray and the camera. But there is a scene where they're playing the game at the end where they do kind of like an homage to Pulp Fiction. And Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam like are on the court.
Oh
And
yeah.
the theme's playing and they got their pieces out. Yeah. I was like, that's fucking sick. So I like that. I think that was like something that I had no idea was even in the movie at all. That when it came on, I was like, okay, like that's pretty sick.
Austin?
I like how you take two different concepts that you would think you would never see together in a movie, and they blend so well together that even if you aren't, and I'll be the first to admit, I'm not a huge basketball fan either, but I enjoyed it and have started liking it every time I watch this film because of my passion and my love for cartoons and how they work and how they essentially either a building block or a domino effect move each other forward in a very positive direction.
Boyd?
We're talking favorite thing?
Yeah.
The movie?
Yep.
Bill Murray.
Just Bill Murray.
Straight up Bill Murray.
Good, that works for me. Bo?
Love the guy.
I agree with Austin. Like, it just incorporating the two different worlds into it, giving Michael like the cartoon characteristics of the stretching of the arm and everything. It was cool to see that.
I think now, especially after this last watch, all the inside references like Zach was talking about to things that are actually happening in the league and like people Jordan hated and referencing the 80s Pistons and like all that kind of stuff, I think is really cool. And now knowing that peek behind the curtain is really neat. Least favorite thing in the movie. Bo, we'll start with you.
I don't think I have a least favorite thing.
Okay, that's fine. You don't have to have one.
That's a very acceptable.
When I saw it as a kid, so wasn't really thinking too much about it back then.
Boyd?
I would say probably the lack of other Looney Tunes characters.
Yeah.
I want more.
The whole universe kind of dump it out on the floor. Yeah, I can agree with that.
But that's such a minute, you know what I mean? That's
Right.
such a minute issue. Like, it was great, and I'm sure there were plenty of references in the crowd that I may have not even recognized or realized at the time.
There are, but like if at some point,
I've been watching in about 2 years as well, so
if like Duck Dodgers would have shown up midway through, like that would have been awesome for me. Like Duck Dodgers, the 29th and a half century, like that would have been epic.
Random little pop for me would have been great.
Yeah.
But you know, great overall movie. Can't wait to hear Zach's.
Austin, what's your least favorite thing?
There are a lot of like little issues, most directly at the plot, and I can't say I like can put those in there as things when it's supposed to be a silly comedy incorporating stuff. So I'm not going to be that petty, and I'm just going to go along with the fact that this is a great movie, and I don't have anything logically bad to say about it.
Right. Zach?
So, I mean, it's kind of weird because, like, as somebody who, like, I don't love the movie, you know, I'm not, like, a huge fan of it. There isn't anything in particular that like, ruins it for me. It's just, like, I don't know. I wasn't that into Looney Tunes. I wasn't that into basketball. So it just, like, wasn't my thing. But I was kind of this I was wondering about this, and it's, like, so obscure, but it stuck out to me for, like, a millisecond when I was watching it, especially in the 90s when people, you know, socially things are so different now. There's a scene where Bugs Bunny grabs Michael and they, like, fucking kiss in Looney Tunes world. And even though it's a cartoon thing, I was thinking about, like, I wonder how many, like, people in the South in the fucking 90s took their kids to see this movie and they're like, gotta have goddamn Bugs Bunny kissing Michael Jordan in this fucking movie. And, like, now it was just like, so just like whatever, you know, it's like a cartoony thing that happens. But I was curious if people back then were, like, heated about it, you know. But
Good question.
Well, you can even interpret that now to parents that have their kids watch cartoons with all the adult, supposed adult jokes that are in it. Like,
right.
even when they originally called the meeting when Bugs is being held hostage by by not the Monstars then, but the aliens, Daffy's running through the thing. He's like, "A guy can't even just get wet anymore." Like, just stuff like that.
Yeah.
You could imagine, like, how many Karens are, like, watching this with their kid, like, I'm calling them, I'm suing them, this ridiculous. No, my kid watch this. But
yeah, definitely. My least favorite thing is the 5 NBA players they picked. Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing.
I knew it was gonna be it.
Were awesome, but, like, the other 3, I don't care. And, like, I think it's very much a Michael Jordan not wanting certain people in his movie thing.
I think you need to do your Muggsy Bogues shirts, brother, and I think you might be singing a different tune.
But then, fine. But then the other 2 still aren't. Like, you know what I mean?
That's cool. Just don't hate on them.
Do you feel that certain – let's take Dennis Rodman, for example. I mean, looking at him now, like, he's covered in huge amount of tattoos. Do you think that would ever, like, demean for a kid's movie, especially like a Looney Tunes?
Well, they make 2 Dennis Rodman references later.
But they don't – I'm saying if they actually if you wanted to put him in there.
We're not putting him in the Warner Brothers.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just –
No, I'm on your side. I'm saying, like, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, it would
probably got the sprinkly, sparkly, clean NBA players.
Yeah.
I think they picked the NBA stars on, like, their size too. Like, they wanted a smaller Monstar.
Right.
They have a tall, lanky one. Like,
right.
Relates to that.
Like, you ever think about that?
I don't know.
God.
I don't like it. I don't know what to tell you.
That's
That's my least favorite thing. I didn't come after your least favorite thing. I just have mine. You have yours. What was your favorite scene from the movie? Let's start with Austin.
Oh, man. Mine is probably, and it's not in a funny sense, which is weird since we're talking about a comedy movie with this magnitude. It's actually when they trick the team into thinking that the water is secret stuff and that they realize they had, like, unplanned potential the whole time. They were just terrified. Like, I don't know, you think about that as I'm 25 now. I'm pretty sure I still have untapped potential in myself. We drink this here secret stuff and let me find out.
There you go. He's even got a blue cup. I like the commitment.
And Daffy's at the end. He's like, hey, you got any more of that secret stuff?
Yeah. Oh, man.
That was just weird. But yeah, but do you have any more?
Yeah.
Boyd, your favorite scene in the movie?
Fixing a divot.
Yeah, he's fixing a divot. What are you doing? Well, I'm fixing a divot. He's fixing a divot. Like, okay. Is this crater-sized hole in the golf course?
Literally a great scene.
Bo.
I'd say when Bugs and Daffy go back to Michael's house to get the shorts because he said he never played a game without wearing the shorts. So this is, like, the biggest game of their lives and his life now. So he needs those shorts to be successful in it.
You vibe with that? Are you wearing the same jock since you were in high school?
I am not, but
Zach?
I'd say it's a toss-up. Like I've said for the 100th time, that Bill Murray scene with the camera, or just how dirty they do Wayne Knight, where they flatten him out and blow his ass up, and they make him the fattest-looking dude ever. Like he doesn't already know he's overweight.
Right.
But yeah, that might
I
be
was half expecting you to be like, oh, when the credits rolled.
Yeah.
Can we just take a moment to realize that Wayne Knight had the most star power in movies after Seinfeld out of that entire cast? Between Space Jam and Jurassic Park alone, like, those are two movies that are huge in the zeitgeist. Like, what movie was Jerry Seinfeld in?
Jason
Or-
Alexander was in Shallow Hal.
Yeah, like, okay, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just really interesting that, like, he's such a B sub character.
Let's just also, for the record, Jerry Seinfeld didn't need to be in anything else.
True.
I'm pretty
True.
sure that Jerry
He
Seinfeld
chose not.
didn't want to be in anything
Right.
else. He's a very weird person. Like, did you ever see the clip of him when I think it might be Billie Eilish, like, comes up to him on the red carpet and she's like, I'm such a huge fan of yours.
It's
Kesha.
Is it Kesha? Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It's Kesha. Yeah. And he's like, I'm such a huge fan of yours. Can I have a hug? And he's like, no. And he's just like, no. And then they're like, did you know who that was? And he was like, no. He was like, they're like, that was Kesha. And he was like, oh, that's cool. And like, he just like doesn't give a fuck. Like, so.
Yeah, so I think my favorite scene is the Michael Jordan walking off the spaceship thing. I don't know why it gets me every time though, that it's just like the music, the moment, like realizing just how important this guy was to sports and American culture at that point in time. We always like to do this. We like to recast one person in the movie, which I think is going to be tough, right? So I think what I want to do is I want you to pick I want you to replace Michael Jordan, right? So your 90s, or Zach, if you want to go with a more current one, since you aren't a big sports fan, I want your 90s hero in their movie with the Looney Tunes to save the world. Does anybody feel strongly and want to go first? Go ahead, Boyd.
Lemieux.
Right. I mean, that's...
Area.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too.
Give me sudden death with the Looney Tunes and like Area.
Barrasso is Bill Murray.
Yeah, no. Maybe Bill Murray can dress up as Iceberg instead of Jean-Claude.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. That would be really good. Man, anybody else? Anybody's got one off the top of their head? Go ahead, Bill.
Ken Griffey Jr. maybe.
Ooh, yeah.
That's a good one.
Movie.
Okay. This had to be in the 90s, yeah. I'm going to go with Michael Vick.
Not necessarily in 90s, but that's kind of an interesting, because if Michael Vick never gets convicted for dogfighting, he's at that level of a Michael Jordan superhero type athlete.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah.
Wondering a little bit.
He definitely had that vibe before the dogfighting. It's a great point. I like that pick.
Might put him in a better image if he's doing cartoon battles instead of dogfighting.
Right. Zach?
If you took the same kind of premise of a actor teaming up with the Looney Tunes to take on some alien force, but you took it out of the sports realm, I want Nick Cage. I want Nick Cage in that movie. I want 90s fucking Nick Cage in that movie.
I love that.
I want Nick Cage awesome. Like after Face Off and Con Air though, where he's like already at that tipping point of like, old boy probably ain't right, and then throw him in there and be like, you got to act with all these fucking cartoons, bro. Like get in there. And he's like, okay, let's go.
Okay. Yes. Oh yes, I feel this. For me, Jeremy Roenick would be awesome. He's awesome on camera. He's such a goofball. I think if anything that takes away from this movie is how stiff Michael Jordan is through parts of it, Jeremy Roenick would have been awesome like the whole way through the movie. And he probably would have hit on Lola Bunny, and he would have gotten fired from NBC for it, which is awesome.
And they could have helped him win a championship.
Oh, he couldn't have, though. He couldn't have helped them win a championship.
Yeah, they would have helped him.
Oh, they helped him win the
Yeah,
championship
they helped him
with the
win.
Blackhawks with the Coyotes.
Coyotes, yeah.
Oh, those sick Coyotes jerseys with the Looney Tunes. That's pretty 90s too.
Ooh, those would be fire.
Pretty 90s too. And actually, didn't Ronta had Wile E. Coyote on his mask when he first went to the Coyotes, didn't he? So,
Yeah.
We worked
there
with
you
that.
go. The final bit. Give it a score, 1 through 10. Let's start with the guy that hates the movie.
I mean, like I said, it's not that I have any like fatal flaw with the movie. It's just
Right.
like not my thing. So I mean, and I can appreciate the appreciation people have for it. So I mean, I'd give it like, it's definitely not like a shitty movie, for
Right.
what it is. It's like, I'd say one of the best like sports movies, one of the like most iconic cartoon movies of the 90s. So I think anything under like a 7 would be fucking blasphemous. So I'll give it a
There
7.
you go. I like that. Vo?
I would probably give it like an 8, 8.5 maybe.
Okay. Justify that score. That's a big score.
Because
Well, Zach gave it a fucking 7, so I feel like we all have to be higher than that. That's what the guy that
Y'all
fucking
fucking
hated
love it
gave
so
a-
much. Let's
The
go.
guy that fucking hated it gave it a higher score than I was going to give it, so now I really have to rethink everything.
but like
Stand your ground, defend your point.
like you said, how they combined the different worlds. They did a good job with that. And then how you guys are saying about The Last Dance, how it reflects the movie in some ways. I didn't know about that, so that makes it pretty good.
Okay. Oh, and you lost your light.
There we go.
There it is. Okay. All right, 8.5. I like that. Boyd?
7.6.
Just because it's bigger than Zach's?
Bigger than Zach's.
All right.
Hey,
Austin?
I'm gonna give it an 8.7.
Wow.
It has a lot of little issues that me as a movie watcher, but disregarding and like looking at it from what it's supposed to be, it's a funny sports kids movie that is incredible at teaching teamwork and also throwing in a lot of laughs. You can't go wrong with that. 8.7.
Yes, teamwork. Give your teammates steroids because they suck, and then they'll be better.
Shut up.
For me, it sits at a 6.5. It's a good movie. It's a fun kids movie. It's a movie that I would show to my kids or nephews, nieces, whatever. But as far as like some of the things in it, I mean, it is really like, okay, now there's aliens. Oh, they're playing the Looney Tunes. Oh, okay, now we're going. It's kind of a bit of a hodgepodge, like piecemealed script. Yeah, it follows the hero's journey, but that's more on Michael Jordan's back, not necessarily the story. But it's an awesome movie. It's a movie I like a lot. So, and I like garbage movies. So there you go.
We need to cover a week where we just like review B movies.
We do that every time you pick a fucking movie, Austin.
Now, for all of you that don't watch, the only A-tier movie for Josh is The Goddamn Departed. So
Yes.
everything aside from that,
I hate The Departed. I hate The
What?
Departed.
How do you hate The
Bro.
Departed?
It's the worst Scorsese movie. I'm sorry.
Oh my
I'm
god.
sorry.
All right. Well,
I love Mark Wahlberg. I love Jack Nicholson. Matt Damon. I can't stand The Departed.
Never saw it. Maybe one day I'll watch it for Josh.
There you
Yeah, I
go.
don't think I've seen it.
All right. Well, boys, thank you so much for joining us. Zach, thanks for being a good sport and taking some blows there. This has been Thoughts from the Movies. We'll be back next week with Justin, me, and Austin. Now that Justin's back in Pittsburgh. Thanks for joining, everybody.